Hey everybody, welcome back to Matt and Stu Review, where we take a look at your favorite toys from yesterday and today. Stuart, what do we have on the table?
Today, we're going to take a look at the Thundercats Deluxe Lion-O figure from Super7. Now, this is a different line from Super7 than we've looked at before.
Okay.
We've looked at some of their Ultimate figures. Deluxe is their more budget-friendly line, so a few less accessories, but you're supposed to get all of the sculpt and posability that you would from one of their Ultimates figures.
Okay, interesting. So it's like the same mold, but just less stuff in the box.
Less stuff in the box,
Uh-huh.
maybe less extra hands and heads,
Okay, yeah.
stuff like that.
Are they like kind of designed as like a thing for kids, or are they? I'm assuming they're cheaper.
They're about $20 cheaper. You're going to like the $30, which is kind of
Sounds expensive for an action figure.
what action figures cost now.
Yep.
It's more of a $30 figure as opposed to a $55 deluxe collectible with all that packaging that we've seen from Super 7.
Okay, so simpler packaging too.
Way simpler packaging.
Yeah. Cool.
And actually, you can take a look at our unboxing video if you want to see him in his packaging.
Oh, that's fine. All right. So what is it? Let's take a look at the figure.
Yeah. So we have Lion-O, who was, if you remember, the leader of the Thundercats. He was like a child who fell asleep or who didn't get affected by the cryo chamber on the ship the same as the rest of his crew. So he was a child when he went into the ship, and then
Okay.
when he emerged, I think he was an adult, if I'm remembering Thundercats correctly.
Dude, I don't know how you remember anything about Thundercats. We're too young for Thundercats.
Honestly, I think my dad liked Thundercats, and so he must have bought me toys and the swords because like I do remember really liking the characters, but
Mhm.
like never watching the cartoon or knowing anything about Thundercats.
Yeah, right. Like my brother was born in '81, and he had some Thundercats stuff. I know he watched the cartoons, but I never knew anything about Thundercats, nor do I even remember seeing the cartoon.
I always really admired, I don't know, the character designs of Thundercats. They were like some of the first anthropomorphized sort of heroes, I feel like, that we got in cartoon form.
Yeah.
And I was into that. There was also a newer Thundercats cartoon that came out in like the mid 2000s. It was
Check it
a
out.
re-release and it was
Yeah.
really good. So
Yeah.
I actually did watch and enjoy that cartoon. Check it out for, a different take on the Thundercats.
How long was that second cartoon around for?
It was around for one season.
Yeah, it didn't catch on.
Didn't catch on.
Like
But
we're in like prime nostalgia phase for us, like X-Men '97 stuff like that. So that must have been like the same like nostalgia hit, but it sounds like maybe it was a little early.
yeah, and it felt to me like the world at that time wasn't as nostalgia focused as
I
the
see
world that we're in now. But let's take a look at this figure.
Yeah.
So, he's got your standard Super 7 articulation. I've messed around with him a little bit to take some photos for the channel.
Yeah.
And I will warn you, he is a stiff figure.
Oh yeah,
He
I can
is
hear
hard
like
to pose.
creaky on
Yeah.
the inside and like
So
some of his hip joints.
I got some hot water here if you want to dip him in there to, manipulate the
Oh yeah.
elbows. Um,
Do people ever lube their toy? Like, would you like spray silicone into joints or anything like that, or
So
is it just a hot water thing?
people actually do lube their toys. There's something called shock oil, which I'm not sure
yeah.
what it's actually for, but
Uh-huh.
people use shock oil on the joints of their action figures.
It's for building your shocks on your crawler, or like for like RC
It's like,
cars.
okay.
Yeah, because I'm into like 1/10 scale RC cars, and so I have shock oil. So hey,
Yeah.
how about something? Hey, Matt got some info on the thing. All right, so we can dunk Lion-O into the hot water
Yeah,
here
yeah,
and make him
Drop him in for his, hips and
his anti-cryo bath here. So how long do you leave him in there?
just 30 seconds, a minute, just enough to
Oh, yeah.
kind of warm him up.
All right. All right, Mum Rob, why don't you pull Lion-O out of the torture chamber here and see if he's got any extra posability?
All right. So this is a trick that action figure enthusiasts use to not damage your toys. If you try too hard to like force a really tight, elbow or a knee, you can actually, destroy your figure and
Yeah,
break them
break 'em.
off.
Mhm.
With this figure in particular, his hands were so tight and made out of such hard plastic that I couldn't get his sword into his hand without heating him up.
Yeah.
So now that he's heated up, there's some more posability. I will say Super 7, they do single knee joints, they do single elbow joints, and I really think that's to preserve the sculpt and to
Oh,
keep the
okay.
character looking good.
Yeah.
But it makes it hard to get him into like some more extreme crouch poses or anything like that.
Mhm.
If you look at his knees, that's
They just
about
bend funny.
that's as far as they go.
Yeah, yeah, okay. I can see that.
But for a character like Lion-O, like I'm likely to have him just standing up there. Works for me.
Hanging out on your shelf, something like that.
As far as his accessories go, he's pretty low on accessories. He came with the figure himself.
Mhm.
You've got his sword. You can remove his hand there, And then he also includes like sort of the magic cat's paw. I can't remember what it's called from the show.
Looks like the Infinity Gauntlet to me.
The Infinity Gauntlet, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's got the Infinity Gauntlet. You got to take his hand off to attach that there.
Okay. Can he hold the sword in the Infinity Gauntlet, or is it like it's like a power fist or something like
I
that?
think it's more like a power fist, and he
Yeah.
would hold the. It's on his left hand, which would make me think that he's going to hold the sword in the right hand,
And punch.
and
somebody
then
with his
maybe
power
he
fist.
blocks with that.
Oh yeah.
cat's
Okay.
paw.
There you go. Yeah. So with a figure like this, you said it was a lower end figure. What is it called?
It's called the Deluxe line, as
Alright.
opposed to the Ultimate line from Super 7.
So do you think in the Deluxe line are the joints and things like not as nice, or is that kind of like a Super 7 thing across the board? Like they're just tight.
I can't confirm this. This is speculation, but
Yeah.
I have a feeling that honestly, the plastic in the Deluxe line might be a little inferior to the plastic in the Ultimates line.
Uh-huh.
He feels a little more hollow than some of the Ninja Turtles Ultimates that I felt.
Okay.
And again, this is all speculation. I could be totally wrong, but
Ah.
I know the paint apps are a little bit better on the Ultimates lines too. There's a little more shading. They do make a Ultimate Lion-O, and there's some more shading. He comes with like a realistic looking selection of accessories, as well as a more cartoon accurate selection of accessories.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Okay.
Whereas this guy is your bare bones Lion-O in a blister pack. I would
Just
say
simple.
more of a toy than a collectible.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Do you think they're like late run in the same molds or something like that? That obviously is more speculation.
I could see that because the
Yeah.
molds do degrade, from what I've heard,
Yeah.
as they pump out more figures. So
Yeah.
I
So
can
you get
see
your
that.
collector's edition stuff out first, or you're more like collectibles, and then it's like, okay, now we'll like make some toys, put it in the cheaper plastic, pump them out.
I
don't know.
do. I think you could be onto something because if I'm correct, I remember the hair sculpt on the Ultimate version
Yeah.
being a little more detailed and
Yeah.
having like more strands. His looks a little softer and a little more marshmallowy, which works for an animated figure.
Sure. Hey, Super 7, if you're out there, let us know in the comments below. Maybe we're onto something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks. This has been Thundercats Deluxe Lion-O from Super 7. Matt, on a scale from 1 to 10, what do you rate this figure?
Before I give you my rating, if you like reviews like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. So what is our scale today for the Lion-O?
From Thundercats, 1 to 10.
Okay, 1 to 10. I am gonna give Lion-O a 5 out of 10. He's like, I don't have any personal attachment to the lore. I think he's like a relatively simple character. He's fine. I mean, I think there's nothing bad about him necessarily, but is nothing extra striking, anything like that. Got to leave some room for improvement everywhere. I mean, paint job's good,
Yeah.
so that's good. Hey, maybe a 6 out of 10.
Matt, I'm going to have to agree with you on this one and also give him a 6 out of 10. I think he's a great figure to have standing on your shelf if you have a little bit of connection to the character and you like Lion-O, but he's not a figure that I'm going to get out and pose for action figure photography.
Uh-huh.
He just doesn't have those double knees and those double elbows and kind of that posability that you want to like put together a cool scene.
Yeah, makes sense to me. Okay. And we want to hear from you. What is your favorite of the 3 Thundercats series that are out? Personally, I never watched any of them, so I don't really have an opinion. But if one of them is trending, maybe you can let us know in the comments below, and I'll take a look. But Stuart, you probably have an opinion.
Yeah, I would say the mid-2000 series was actually my favorite. It obviously wasn't made just to design toys. There was more character development, but they still had those iconic Thundercat character designs that we loved.
Awesome. Well, there you go.
Great. Thanks for watching, everyone. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.